No, stay and listen. This is from Gonzalito by Aurelis.
But you're Uruguayan.
I was born and raised in Uruguay, proudly Uruguayan. Since we live on the border, that's what happens. Here, nobody speaks Uruguayan, everyone speaks Brazilian.
Ah, they painted the mate gourds, and what more can we ask for, huh? Morning, mate, the landscape of the Uruguayan hills. We are in the city of Montevideo, the capital of the Oriental Republic of Uruguay. We just arrived by boat from Buenos Aires, and we're going to take the only train running in the Oriental Republic of Uruguay. We're leaving the Boludo port, the kilometer that's for trucks to cross the street. I almost got run over by one just now. Oh. We are at the General Artigas Central Station in Montevideo. Look at this beautiful building, and clearly no more trains leave from here. It's abandoned, and you might be wondering what happened to this topo. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story. This building was inaugurated in 1997. Who built it? The Central Uruguay Railway, a British company that started operating in Uruguay in 1878. And at the end of the 19th century, they built this station as the Central Station. During the first part of the 20th century, Uruguayan railways belonged to British capital. 3,000 kilometers of track, all in a radial shape, meaning they started from the towns in the interior and converged in Montevideo. Exactly with the port of Montevideo, which as we can see is right here next to us. This is the station, and in the background you can already see the containers from the port. That was so they could take food from Uruguay to Great Britain, following that agro-export model they had. Not only in Uruguay, but also in the case of Argentina and in many other Latin American countries. But unlike in Argentina, the English used only one track gauge here, the 1435 gauge, which would be the international gauge. This allowed all the tracks in Uruguay to be homogeneous, meaning any train could run in any region. During the first part of the 20th century, Uruguayan railways belonged to British capital, but as a consequence of World War II, Great Britain had a tremendous debt with Uruguay for the food they provided during the war. And in 1949, they decided to pay their debt of £17 million sterling by giving Uruguay the 5 railway lines. Similar to what happened in Argentina, starting in 1949, the Uruguayan state created State Land Transport Association, the State Land Transport Association. And then in 1952, it ended up creating the State Railways Administration. Administración de Ferrocarriles del Estado, the state company that still manages the railways to this day. But railway development didn't work out. It was heavily criticized. The Uruguayan military dictatorship neglected and defunded the local railways to such an extent that January 1st, 1988 was the most tragic day for Uruguayan railways, because they suspended all passenger services. Only the freight train continued operating at this station. The administrative offices kept running, and it was also used as a shunting yard for freight trains. At the same time, they started using it for other purposes. They started holding art exhibitions and even hosted concerts, actual concerts. Mano Negra, Manu Chao's band actually performed right here. Iron Maiden heavy metal at the Gervasio Artigas Central Station in Montevideo.
Iron Maiden in Uruguay, Tuesday, July 28th, 8 Post Meridium Central Station.
It should be noted that in 1991 some services returned, and even in 1993 the Montevideo service began operating from here again to August 25th, Florida Department. Now you can see that the station is very deteriorated. It was going downhill. The state it's in is terrible. And this is because they started doing real estate schemes with this property back in 1996. This train station was bought by Antel, which is the telephone company. And in fact, on this land, they built the telecommunications tower, which is the tower where Antel operates. And it's the tallest building in Montevideo. It's about 158 meters tall. and in 1998 they sold the building to the Mortgage Bank of Uruguay, with the goal of carrying out the Phoenix Plan, which was nothing more than a real estate project that aimed to turn this station into a cultural shopping center. Tell me, how can I whitewash the name by calling it a cultural shopping center? They also planned to build a hypermarket and residential towers, similar to what happened to us in Mar del Plata, with the Mar del Plata Sur train station, which became the bus terminal and later the Aldo Rey. If you're from my favorite city, you know what I mean. O pueden ver mi video de Mar del Plata que ahí lo cuento. The project was never completed. Many neighbors came together and collected signatures to protect the heritage, and congratulations to them. But unfortunately, on March 1st, 2003, the last train left this station and it was closed down. An example of the dismantling of Uruguayan railways. This is not something that only happened in Uruguay, but unfortunately, we also experienced it in the Argentine Republic. And we could say that we have experienced it in much of Latin America. Disastrous policies like the Larkin Plan, which sought to dismantle our railways to impose motor transport and leave our countries disconnected, and at the same time increasing our logistics costs. And by the way, taking advantage of the situation, they could sell us all the automobiles produced in the local United States. The reality of our history, what can we do, is exemplified by the deterioration and destruction of our historical heritage. But, the central station was moved about 500 meters, and here we can find the Montevideo railway station, which is really nothing more than a walkway, a platform, a simple platform which has nothing to do with the luxury, opulence and functionality that the old central station of this city used to have. However, even though the platform was very small, new services started to appear. In 2018, they even added services to Sudrias, and the one going to 25 de Agosto, Florida, also returned. But these services were permanently suspended in 2019 when they started the reconstruction of the Central Railway, which goes from Montevideo to Rivera, about 563 kilometers, and out of that stretch, they renovated the first 273 kilometers. They replaced all the tracks, which, as you can see, are brand new. There we can see that the sleepers were replaced from the old wooden sleepers to concrete sleepers. They replaced all the rails, they fully modernized it, and the main goal of that is so they can reach higher speeds. It's believed they can go about 80 kilometers per hour, and it's believed that soon the passenger train service from Montevideo station will be reactivated. So let's hope that when it's ready we can come to its inauguration, these first 273 kilometers that have been reactivated. It's from here to Paso de los Toros. That reminds me of something. That train service, which was called the Pueblos Libres, connected Argentina with Uruguay.
It's our neighbor, and like with any neighbor, it's nice to visit often. Of course, if you can take the train.
It's even better now, since we've already launched the Argentine-Uruguayan train service. It went from Pilar in the province of Buenos Aires to Paso de los Toros, or at least that was the idea because it actually operated only up to Salto. As soon as you crossed from Concordia in Argentina, the crossing was done exactly at the top of the Salto Grande Dam, which is the one that spans the Uruguay River. It was a train that covered a route of 813 kilometers, and the final idea was to connect Buenos Aires with Montevideo. And this service was inaugurated on September 23, 2011, and stopped operating in February 2012. Did it last less than Fedebal's relationship? I remember I was going to take it. Well, I'll take it later, but unfortunately I never got to. There must be very few people who have traveled on the Pueblos Libres train, and they let me know. The comments. It was a train announced with great fanfare. Cristina was in Salto. She announced it there with Música. The news was all over it, and today it's been forgotten. Nowadays in Uruguay, there are 1,900 kilometers of usable tracks, some of them in a condition of look at me but don't touch me. That's practically half of what they had at the time of the dismantling of the railways in the 80s. Uruguay is the best country, better than France and better than Paris. The only train service that runs nowadays in Uruguay goes from Tacuarembó to Rivera. So now we're leaving from the Tres Cruces terminal in Montevideo to Tacuarembó. After more than 5 hours of travel, we've arrived in Tacuarembó. We're at the Carlos Gardel terminal. It should be noted that Tacuarembó is the Uruguayan city where it is said that the great tango singer was born. There's a dispute with Toulouse. We were in Toulouse. You can see the videos of Un Topo por el Mundo there. Some say he was born there, some say he was born here. I'll read your comments. All right. Here is our room in Tacuarembó. 2,900 Uruguayan pesos, that's about $73 a simple room. There's a little table, the closet that I practically don't need, I barely brought any clothes, and the bathroom. The room is secure, but the price is steep. I'm going to sleep now, and tomorrow we're taking the train to Tacuarembó. Good morning, everyone. Here we are, just waking up in Tacuarembó. We're kind of running late. I overslept a bit, so let's hurry to the station. We have about 11 blocks from the hotel where I'm staying, so let's get going. The train leaves in 25 minutes. I think I'll make it on time, but I also like to get some shots before leaving and all that, so we're going to be cutting it close. Supposedly, they only accept cash. So I had to exchange money at the hotel reception where they gave me change for some dollar bills I had because I hadn't exchanged any in Montevideo. It's important if you visit Uruguay, even though many places accept credit cards and Mercado Pago. Exchange some bills for old-fashioned paper money just in case. Hello, good morning. ¿Cómo va? We've arrived at Tacuarembó train station. Here we can find the Fiat i1 railcar, a self-propelled diesel car which has only one car. These were made in Italy from 1979 to 1981. There aren't many units in the world. There are some in Croatia, in Serbia, in Kosovo, all the countries of the former Yugoslavia, also some in Sweden, and here in Uruguay. We can see that they have a total of 5 cars. 4 of them are apparently working and 1 is already being used for spare parts. And there we see an old wooden freight car. There are several of them back there. I'm also very happy. Guys, no, actually it's 7 in the morning. It's about to leave, just a few minutes left. You can only pay for the ticket in cash, confirmed. No, we didn't change, we changed. The Tacuarembó station was inaugurated in 1991. It's quite old. All right, we're about to leave. Let's check out the unit. We're already inside the car. It's beautiful. Look at these seats, but the window is fogged up, so we'll have to find another one to get good shots of the outside. But look, there are details. For example, this seat here has a little table and it's shared with the people in front. You can sit, chat, have some mate, and then there are other seats that have a tray. It's not bad at all. And something interesting that caught my attention is that the train service has Wi-Fi. Look, here's the password. Everything's great. I didn't expect it. An 80s train car with Wi-Fi, 7 in the morning, right on time. We're already leaving from Tacuarembó station. We have 118 kilometers ahead of us, which in theory we'll cover in 2 hours and 10 minutes. And just as this sign says, there is train service only 2 days a week on Mondays and Fridays. It leaves from Tacuarembó at 7 in the morning and arrives in Rivera at 9:10. It has 7 stations and many optional stops where the train stops only if needed. It stops if people are waiting or someone requests it, otherwise it keeps going. We're only gonna do the outbound trip because after that, from Rivera Path, I'm heading back to Buenos Aires. Here there might be a schedule board, but it's for another service, the one that went from the Montevideo terminal to 25 de Agosto. Since I arrived, you can't bring a bicycle or travel with a cinnamon-colored dog. Good thing we left them behind. Otherwise, it would have stayed in Tacuarembó. Now, the moment everyone's been waiting for, let's see the bathroom. Wow, what a great bathroom. The chemical toilet is pressurized and functions properly without discharging onto the tracks. There is also a baby changing table. Let's check the water in case there's a fail. Hand sanitizer here, and the soap dispenser doesn't work either. There's a bathroom, which is good since a 2-hour trip might not have one. I told you these cars are in Sweden. You can see Swedish written here. I'll try to translate it, but I don't speak Swedish yet. Juan rolled on the mate. They drink it in the Brazilian style, but they use canary yerba. And they thought I was Spanish. They asked me if I was Spanish or Argentinian. Have they been to Argentina or not?
In Spain, yes.
And what, do they go to Rivera for the day?
We're not going to stay there because my mother-in-law is there.
They use the train a lot?
Right, I was first, she was second.
Do you like the service? Yes.
Yes, it's flawless and comfortable. Good people, lucky to be in Rivera.
200 each for the lottery. Thank you. We're going to see with a friend from Montevideo who also came to see the train.
Rodolfo.
So Rodolfo, is this your first time traveling by train?
Yeah, well, here on this one, I'm already a bit older. I haven't traveled in Montevideo. I live in Montevideo. I have traveled from Montevideo, but only short distances. Since the passenger train no longer runs, I traveled all the way to Tacuarembó for this trip. Honestly, it's a great experience.
Yes, this truly is Uruguay's last train.
Yes, it's the last one still running. I don't want to miss the scenery, so sometimes I don't.
No, me neither, me neither.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
I'm filming the scenery to send to him.
And Rodolfo in Montevideo, is the train returning?
I don't think so. I mean, now there's a freight train for the paper mills that transports from the UPM plant to the port of Montevideo. They say that maybe in the future the passenger train will be brought back.
We're going to find that the whole way is surrounded by eucalyptus plantations, which are for the paper mills. Everything is set up for forestry. I found a clear seat where you can open the window, so we'll start getting outside shots. If the sun bothers you, Pacate, just pull down the shade here and you're set. Now, how do we put it up? I don't know. Spectacular. Great for summer with air conditioning, and I assume there's heating for winter too. Not bad, these Fiat trains, but one downside is that I'm trying to connect to the Wi-Fi and it doesn't seem to work. The sign is there, everything's there, but something important to point out, even though there's a Wi-Fi sign, there isn't any, and in my case, I don't even have cell phone signal. There aren't any charging ports either. These cars are over 40 years old and they haven't added any cables, so make sure your devices are fully charged if you're coming here. We just crossed the Bañado de Rocha tunnel, the only railway tunnel in Uruguay. This area is full of cuchillas, not blades but hills and small mountains. And when the English started to expand the railway network, they found that they had to go through one of them. So in 1991, they started building this tunnel, which was completed in 1892, and that allowed them to extend service all the way to Rivera. It's 200 meters long, and the car goes dark when they go through it. Would the classic Mitsukushi appear? I mean, Mitsukushi. And it's declared a historical heritage site of Uruguay, the only railway tunnel they have in the country. And something very curious is that the train stops at many level crossings that are just dirt roads, not highway crossings, just simple dirt roads. And there are people waiting to get on there. Sebastian, the conductor, puts down a small plastic step, the person gets on, and here we are.
Good morning, boss. Good morning. How are you? Everything good? Nice? Please, I understand.
Yes, keep so.
I'd like another one. Yes, okay.
Good morning, hello, good morning.
The bus stops are from the time of the English in the 1900s. Now it's 2025.
People moved away and they told me there's no other way to get around from here because to reach the highway it's 25 kilometers. So these people who get on depend on the train to be able to get around. If they don't have their own transportation, we just stopped at a station and someone came up to deliver an envelope. They also use it for parcels, they carry things.
No, stay on, listen. This is from Gonzalo.
All set, this is for Aurel.
Leaving it for the girl. At your service. Sorry for the trouble. It's nothing. You can continue later. We're off.
How is Sebastian? The train only stops if people are there, right?
If there are no people, they keep going.
And here is the area to put wheelchairs, but I was wondering how would a person in a wheelchair get on? Well, here is the corresponding ramp. This unfolds if necessary and the person can get on without any problem. Here's an interesting fact. This train could reach up to 130 kilometers per hour, but on this route the maximum speed is 50 due to the condition and state of the tracks. Also, since we're in a hilly area, the slopes don't allow the train to go that fast. We're here at Paso del Cerro station. There was a crowd of people just now. They painted the mate cups, and what more could we ask for, huh? Morning, mate? Landscape of the Uruguayan hills, and look, here we are with Maria, who is from Paso del Cerro.
Oof, yes, we're Uruguayan and half Brazilian.
You sound like you have a Portuguese accent.
Yes, I mean, yes, Brazilian, which is neither Brazilian nor Uruguayan. Now you're going to dare to the ropes.
Do you speak Portuguese?
Also Brazilian, yes.
He speaks both languages?
Yes, because we're from here, from the border. And here on the border, that's what people speak, but you speak it. And there's an echo, this Brazilian accent, so people realize you're not Uruguayan.
Lico.
The echo.
Echo, the echo.
The lico remains. The echo that I'm not Uruguayan, that people realize I'm not Uruguayan.
But are you Uruguayan?
Born and raised in Uruguay, I'm Uruguayan, thank God. But since you live on the border, that's what happens. Because here on the border, nobody speaks Uruguayan. Everyone speaks Brazilian.
They speak Brazilian, a mix, but if I speak Portuguese, you understand.
I understand, yes, I understand.
And now you go to Rivera to shop, yes, no?
I go to Tranquilo.
You move from town to town. If you don't have the train, you can't get around. Let's say, no. No bus, nothing here.
No train means no movement.
It's a social service that's very important to me.
More than important, because you saw where I got on, right? Yes, in the middle of the countryside.
And it drops you off in the middle of the countryside.
I get off in the countryside.
And do you work in the countryside?
No, I'm an old age pensioner.
Yes. Do you live well here as a pensioner?
What can you do? We have no other choice. We just have to keep going. That's it.
We have no other choice. Yes, to keep going. So we don't give up, as they say exactly.
We just need to keep moving forward. Thank you.
No, thank you, Maria. Good morning, BND. Are we uploading or should I send it to the platform? Here we are at Laureles Station. A lot of people going to Rivera. Many people in these towns lack bus service and have no way to connect with public transportation. And they take the opportunity to go to Rivera, which is on the border with Brazil. They do shopping and errands there, etc. We have arrived at the Tranquera station. A lot of people get on and off here, and as you can see, the station looks like something out of a movie. We can see that on those doors, they did some rather risque artwork. The Tacuarembó to Rivera service, part of the Montevideo to Rivera route, began in 1892. Passenger service was cancelled in 1988, along with all other services in Uruguay, but returned in 1992. This one here, which they decided to cancel in 2000 because they said it facilitated smuggling. Because we are reaching the border with Brazil, we are going to make a video where we can see that Rivera is a border city between Uruguay and Brazil. They are right next to each other. But luckily, in 2018, the service returned to stay, and today it is the only passenger train operating in Uruguay. Thank you. Here we go, dear Sebastian. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gracias. Watch the video. A few minutes after the scheduled time, we have arrived at Rivera station. Here, the journey of this central railway that came from Montevideo has ended. We are about 563 kilometers away. And the quality, the warmth of the railway staff, like in many parts of the world, is wonderful. They make you feel like part of a family. A popular train service as it should be, so cheer up and thank you for watching the video. It beats strongly. I hope you enjoyed these trips as much as I did. It was a wonderful experience. If you visit this area of Uruguay, I highly recommend seeing the Train of Faith, the country's last remaining train. And hopefully soon we'll be able to make the Montevideo Rivera route and our Uruguayan brothers can have the same connectivity they had 40 years ago. Thanks for the video. In a serious project and not in a ghost project like Lopez's train. Thanks for watching, thanks for this video, and see you next time.